put Hugh Jackman as the next Wolverine. I dare them. I dare them. No, that's not. I dare them.
Wait a minute. Did you watch this film or not?
I watched it and I dare them.
Okay, you dare them, and then what are you going to do when they do it?
I'll riot.
Okay, good. Riot for yourself.
Okay.
Falcon.
Do you know what she?
Falcon
is you see it like Ironman's back foul armor.
Falcon is the custodian of she's a shield custodian. Like I said that you should call the movie The Custodian. Deadpool, Wolverine, the thing that a lot of people were wanting to see that. I mean,
I didn't want to see.
Neither did I. Like, it wasn't really a thing for me, but there's a lot of guys out there, obviously from a particular demographic of fandom who this is what they wanted to watch,
Or Ryan Reynolds and an 8-foot-tall Wolverine.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk about that, but it's something that a lot of guys were looking for, that they wanted to see, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. For me, looking at something like this, I feel like there's a lot to say about what the movie signifies and the success of the movie signifies in terms of the state of movies in general and the state of fandom specifically. Now, I'll let you give your thoughts as to, your own watch or whatever. Like, I wasn't going to watch it, but I did it for the sake of Talkback, because obviously we're back in Talkback now, starting to do these things, because I think it's important to give particular fans a home, for those guys who need, who are wandering the wilderness, who feel like they've got nobody. We're here for you, sort of anyway, because I don't see how anybody who has a functioning brain, like, their brain is actually
one brain cell or half a brain cell,
who's going to watch that. And you see, the thing is that there's two schools of thought here. It's very good for what it's doing.
It's a 10 out of 10. But see, let me just...
Okay, go on.
From what you just said, if you just want to go in without a brain and you just want to be fed fanboyism and you just want to be given fan service, it's a 10 out of 10. For that, it's a 10 out of 10 in terms of fan service. But if you actually want to have a actual film that actually has a functioning story with a narrative, it's a 2 out of 10. So it depends on what.
I think it's 0 for that. I don't think it's even 2. Like,
no, they put out a film and Hugh Jackman acted. So that's
okay. No, that's just 1 mark, because
the choreography was decent.
It
was especially
compared to Winter Soldier.
That's you can't compare it to Equilibrium. That's literally like top.
No,
tier.
Equilibrium is that's the different level to it. I'm saying Winter Soldier. Equilibrium is like
no.
That's a whole of that.
I thought the choreography was cool. So basically, I'm giving it 2 marks. That's it. But as a film, it's garbage. And what people need to understand is that let's just be very clear here, because I've had a lot of arguments with people, and people are like, oh no, but it's supposed to be fun. I'm like, okay, no, cool. If you enjoyed it, that's fine. I'm not here to give my opinion on my viewpoints. Scientifically, objectively, pyrotechnically, philosophically, scientifically, theoretically.
That's scientifically to begin with.
That's a garbage film. As a film, it's garbage.
Well,
it's trash.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? I always like to give levels, because if we say that everything is garbage, then there's no levels to things.
That's garbage.
No, because
it's an insult to the narrative of. Okay, so
the reason why I'm saying, okay, go on.
No, because I can't even call it a film.
That's where I'm going. That's my point. The way that you're talking, that's what I was trying to say, that you've got to. This is not the same thing as when you're talking about Endgame or Infinity War. Like, that is when you say, this is garbage. Just say,
yeah.
It's like, it's not a movie.
No,
it's not designed like that. This is literally a fan nostalgia, marketing fan thing. I can't even call it nostalgia, because you're not really going back far enough, because a lot of the stuff that they're even doing this in the last 15 years, 10, 15 years. So when you're talking nostalgia, you're talking 40, 30 years, something like that. So you're seeing things like Elektra and Blade, which we'll get to, and all of that sort of stuff. This is stuff where if you're 25, you remember that. You know what I'm saying? I can't call that nostalgia. My thing with this is that, when you make something in this way, And it is designed specifically for how do we take the energy that has been created in all these multiple things and siphon them into one project to boost that project. There is no difference between what they did with this and what happened with No Way Home. Is it Far From Home or No Way Home? No Way Home.
No Way Trash, yeah.
No Way Home, right? Yeah. And what that is what No Way Home. You went to see No Way Home because you were going to see for the first time.
Yeah, and
3 Spider-Men in the same movie.
It wasn't a film.
This movie you're going to see because first of all you're going to see Deadpool and Wolverine in the same film as a unit, as a team up guy thing in the same movie. That is what brought people to the thing in the first place. Then on top of that, you're then getting, well, they're not beyond rumors because people knew this, but the rumors of all the people that were going to be in it, all the cameos, all the things that were going to be in it. And then when the first people go and see it, they say, yes, it's true. These people are in, this person, that person, that person. You watch the thing and you're like, yeah, that's what this is now. And the thing is, when you see the number of films that are in the franchises of DC and Marvel that have now, and Star Wars, you know, that have done this sort of thing where it's like, you know what, we're out of ideas. We do not know what to do anymore with these franchises. So what we've now got to do is that we've got to start pulling from all the things that have had any kind of success whatsoever. All the things that have had any fans.
It's like that Sidious in Rise of Skywalker. Why are you doing that?
No, that's why I've named Star Wars. Yeah. It's like the same thing. You're literally like, what can we pull on to bring in, sorry. No, on the edge. Yeah. To bring in to energize and boost this project.
It's fake. I mean, when do we talk about Hugh Jackman, or do we not get there yet?
Well, you look, man, we can talk about Hugh Jackman in a minute. I mean, I'll say this.
General, because I think this is really about, because the review is already done, it's just really about it's making $1 billion. So my general thoughts is, if you just want to have fun, it's a 10 out of 10, but as a film, it's not even a film, it's garbage. And I think that it's very worrying that this made this much money. It is very, very worrying and problematic, but, you know.
I'm going to say that the real problem with this thing, and this is what this video, in my opinion, or this transmission, or this is about, is that, in my view, my humble opinion, and I'm a nobody, this movie and the success of this movie is the eulogy of cinema as we've known it. The fact it has been so successful, and it is not a film, it is essentially an engineered piece.
Marketing campaign.
It's an engineered thing. This is the sort of thing that you could actually go into a lab and just say, okay, look, as I think Reynolds even had an interview about, you know, the character driven as opposed to it being, so it's the body, so you know that. You go in and you make these decisions that we know everybody loves Wolverine, we know people love Deadpool. If you put these two characters together and just fundamentally ride this thing on the banter between these guys, you've already gotten about 60% of your fan base off the bat there, off just that. Then on top of that, you start bringing in all of, like we've talked about, all of these things. But the problem for me is more fundamental. We are now at a point where these studios and these people making these things have figured out a cheat code for any mistake they ever make. We now can use a multiverse mechanism to undo the errors of our past films that we've put out.
Oh, yeah.
So we can be in a situation now where we accidentally killed Logan, not realizing that we didn't have anywhere to go with that because we couldn't find another Wolverine. So let's just bring back the Wolverine that we used to have, bring him back real quick because we shouldn't have killed him when we killed him. We, what do they call it? We are marking time on whether we killed Captain America too quickly. We're going to see what's going to happen next year. But now we've got a possibility in the wings that we have a mechanism for bringing, because now you've established that there is this agency of multiverses.
Look, 2020 stuff.
So you can go into, but that is like, that's a whole other conversation. So now you've created a mechanism that this company that is now part of the Marvel universe, the job of this company is to manage timelines.
And also, just a quick point to that, which is something that you should know. What you're doing is storytelling sin.
No.
It's a storytelling sin because the whole multiverse mechanic, that's a storytelling sin. So basically, nothing is finite.
Nothing is finite. No, but But I think the thing is, look, a story about a multiverse is fine if that is where it's kept. So, for example, Doctor Strange. So if you keep a thing about the multiverse and you keep it in there, that is all right, right? Once you now say that this is the framework of your entire company, like this is how you now operate, what it means is that there is nothing you ever see in the Marvel universe that means anything.
No, nothing.
There is nothing you've ever seen that's meant anything. The snapshot with Iron Man, that's irrelevant now because tomorrow they could decide to bring him back as Iron Man if they want to. When I looked at this, I said, oh, you know what? Now what they've done is that, listen, we've got a get out of jail clause. And the only way the get out of jail clause works, the public have to accept this mechanism. That is the reason why the success of the movie is so dangerous. Because what the public have said is that we accept this. And the reason why the public accept it is because the public is so starved of quality films that they say, whatever you guys have got to do to give us more of the thing we've now said we liked, because you're not able to give us anything fresh, unique, or original. So we like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. You've not been able to replace him with anybody. You've not even tried. Bring him back. So as this movie goes, spoilers, guys, this spoilers everything. As this movie goes, Hugh Jackman is back as Wolverine. Like officially.
And that point that Deadpool makes of you're going to play this until you're 19. No, that's a real point. It's not just a tongue-in-cheek. It's like, no, you're going to keep on playing this. And it is so bad because the Hugh Jackman thing, I don't think you know how much that annoys, because I take this as a personal insult. This 8-foot BFG clown has been playing this since the year 2000. Well, since the year 2000, this 9-foot tall BFG has been playing this role where, and also, did also say, again, guys, spoiler, I don't care what's for spoiling this whole thing. If I was short, I would sue this film for because what was that crap about going into the other Wolverines and because I was so short, let me now put a literal midget there. No, Hugh Jackman, you dumb, stupid moron. I mean, we're not asking for Tyrion Lannister. We're asking for someone who looks like the dude in the freaking comics. You stupid idiot, man.
The thing is this, right? First of all, he's not the guy making the decision, so, He
can reject it.
You're going to reject millions of dollars? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what you're talking about, as far as he's concerned. It's the people making the decisions that you should be talking about.
I can be angry about both the decision makers and him.
There is no way, if I am in his position, that I'm turning down tens of millions or whatever millions to go back and do something that's already put millions of dollars in my pocket. There ain't no way I'm doing that. The issue is with the people making the decisions as to what direction you're going to go in. That's the problem. The thing is, look, anybody who was a Wolverine guy, like I've said, my main guys, Batman, Wolverine, and Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, so on and so forth. So Wolverine was definitely...
So no Black Panthers were you?
No.
I don't know.
They're all rubbish. They're all rubbish.
So wait, what's wrong with Falcon? What's wrong with the War Machine?
Falcon...
Do you know War Machine?
Falcon...
Is you see like Iron Man's back foul armor.
Falcon is the custodian she's a shield custodian. Like I said that you should call the movie The Custodian. Like this guy, do you know the fact that the two main black characters in the Marvel universe are using, no, not only are they sidekicks, their entire hero-ness is utilizing the leftover materials of another white man. No, let's just stop laughing about this. Falcon, his entire situation now is taking on the shield and the materials of another man.
Yeah. No. It's technically it's more so for War Machine. Falcon, that's his stuff. So it's not like a thing. That's just.
What do you mean his stuff?
No, that's his tech, because you didn't watch the
show.
The show. Because in the show, like, it's his tech.
What do you mean it's his tech? I'm talking about the shield. When Captain America retired, he gave him his shield.
No, but how's the same as War Machine? No, War Machine, you're using a guy's...
Listen to what I'm talking about. I know what you're saying. I'm saying the way Falcon now, like his whole narrative thread, first of all, he kicks Captain America's side. That's his main thing, right?
Kick, yes.
So he kicks his side. So if you're kicking the guy's side, and then your whole story arc thread is the potential to one day become Captain America and take over from the main man Steve Rogers Captain America. That's my thing. And then when Steve Rogers retired at the end of Endgame and he was old, he gave him his shield.
Oh, yeah.
And Falcon was like, no. And then he said, no, take it, it's yours, whatever. And then the movie that's coming out, it's like Falcon basically becoming Captain America. You're not Steve Rogers. No, I'm not. Your whole movie is about trying to measure up to another man. Another man, not measure up to your father or your uncle. Another man. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. This is not your brother. This is not your father. This is not your uncle. This is not your grandfather. You're measuring up to another man.
And the key thing is that you are Falcon. You're not Captain America, you are Falcon, and you'll always be Falcon.
But there you go. But you see, what I'm saying is that the whole thing is revolving around another man's equipment and his own another man's legacy. War Machine, that's literally another man's legacy. Like, it is literally his suit.
His old suit.
The one that doesn't even want to use it.
Yeah, like the one that's this guy.
Let me tell you, so the people watching Talkback, you see, there's a lot of fans out there who talk about race baiting, because we talk about this stuff a lot because it keeps coming up from all of us, from Star Wars to bloody Romulus, now all of this, Superman and this. You are lying to yourself if you cannot look at the universe and say that the only surviving Black Marvel heroes are literally living in the shadow of another white man. Like, the entire hero-ness of these guys is encapsulated with taking on the mantle of another guy.
And let me even add that to make it even beautiful, because that ties things in beautifully. So you have those two guys who are now second things. Members of the jury, can you please tell me what year Blade in the MCU was announced? I believe it was announced in 2019. Members of the jury, were in 2024, a script has not yet been written. They have not even begun principal photography. This film was announced in 2019. So the two surviving characters you have are literal sidekicks, aka losers, aka bombs. And then you have, because the Ryan Coogler thing, I get it. That's a bit more complicated emotionally. But yeah,
Coogler thing is what's complicated?
Chadwick Boseman, his relationship with Chadwick Boseman, not one.
No, that's very complicated. That's not. Anyway, go on. Anyway, go on. Yeah, I don't want to mess that up.
Yeah. But Blade was announced in 2019, and they have been through different directors, different writers. And if you go deeper into the problems of Blade, which I've done, I've gone down the rabbit hole. They want to do the same thing that they did to him in Blade 2. Guys, it's not a conspiracy. So making a Blade film, and in his first film, it revolves around his daughter. And it revolves around the whole team. Guys, it's not a conspiracy.
It's not
They don't want to have a black character that has agency, that is truly a hero and is truly in charge of his situation and stands on his own. Falcon is trying to be like Captain America. War Machine is trying to be like I know. There's no black hero that can stand. I expect, watch what they will do to Storm.
Do you know what's so funny about War Machine is that not only are you trying to be Iron Man is so huge that he has commanded that timeline, died a hero in that timeline, and is now going into another timeline to become a big time guy in another timeline. Do you know how crazy that is? Like, Robert Downey Jr. has the character has so dominated one entire timeline that he said, you know what? You can now have this one. And even one. And
how have they even announced
and it's bounced?
That stupid Armor Wars.
So what I'm saying is this: look, when you're looking at Deadpool and Wolverine, and you realize the kinds of things that can happen in these universes to other characters, and the fact that you're now able to just retcon and correct things at will, and you have a situation that, and as I said, look, and I've said this multiple times about Ryan Reynolds. Like I've said, we were talking before. I said that Ryan Reynolds is a very talented comedy actor. I said he was good from when he did Blade Trinity, before he even did Blade Trinity. I didn't think he should have been in Blade Trinity. I thought it was stupid to be in Blade Trinity. But I always said that this guy has talent, and he's very unlucky because for some reason, every time he's in something, the movie is bad. Like Green Lantern, Blade Trinity, X-Men Origins, but it was never his fault. However, if that dude was not a white guy, there is no way that you'd be talking about Ryan Reynolds today. They would have blamed him for the first thing that flopped, Blade Trinity. You will never hear from that guy again. The only reason why he has kept being given opportunities and people have seen his talent and been able to give him an opportunity is because he's white. Like, it's like, you look at him and you're like, you're able to be like, look, it's not his fault. You blame everything else but him. When you see a movie like this, and again, this is spoiler guys, that a guy like, when you see a movie like this and he now is able to give Wesley Snipes an opportunity, first of all, kudos to Reynolds to even do that.
Yeah.
He made that phone call. He didn't need to make that phone call. He didn't. He is the person that puts Snipes on screen for the fans.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
The fans have been calling for Snipes for like 20, many years. 20 years, 2004. The man that put Snipes back on screen as Blade, it's Ryan Reynolds. Don't forget that, guys. You see, that's a good guy. For whatever you want, whatever you want to say, because you could have easily just had an ego.
Because
you could have an ego.
Because you can connect that loosely with the Terrence Howard Downey Jr. thing.
You can.
Because
loosely.
Yeah. Because like, if you know the whole Downey Jr., Downey Jr. pretty much blanked him after Downey Jr. finally got his whole thing. So from Reynolds, he could have easily been like, oh, look, it's fine.
Yeah,
but he had to say, look, I remember what happened on Blade Trinity. I remember how complex that was. I remember how problematic that was. Let me call and look, man, let's just...
Kudos. And also, the way he brought him back. Like, if you see the way he was treated in the film, it was respectfully treated. You know, it wasn't like, you know how you could just throw a guy in there? Yeah, just give a line. He did something. He actually did something.
And also, so I think even it goes to the point where, because I'm just trying to break down the success of this film, and it's like, so are you saying that we've now reached a point in the movie industry where forget narrative, forget story, forget beginning, middle, end, forget character motivations, just be like, okay, lots of people love Blade. Oh, they wanted Gambit in there. Oh, if we could just hit all these marks and we do like our data analysis of our audience, we can just produce a product that isn't a film, that's just a product, and we can make $1 billion. This is scary because we know how dumb Hollywood is. Hollywood, like, how can we replicate this?
I don't.
So they're thinking about how they can replicate this, which is going to be hard.
I wouldn't even say it's about replicating in the way. I would actually say, I see what you're saying, but think about it this way. It's more a case of you hit a brick wall and you didn't know where else to go. We said that was going to happen at Avengers Endgame. We said that, right? That you're done now because you've used up everything too quickly, where you could have had an entire 4 years. You could have had a whole Iron Man years. All these characters that you just threw into Avengers themselves could have had a decade-long run, each of them. But you're so greedy that you wanted to just do and you did all of that. And now you're stuck because you've killed everybody. You've killed every story. It's finished. What do you then do? They then started trying to, with the TV shows and all this phase 2, phase 3, and none of those films worked. None of them. The only films that were really successful were when you went back to a legacy character, like Spider-Man and all of these sort of things. When you tried Doctor Strange, all these phase 2, none of them works. None of them were successful. So then you're in a situation that, my God, what do we do now? Because people are less interested in comic book characters. They're not going to the cinema to watch anything that isn't one of the things we've made into this team. Thor on his own couldn't function without the rest of the team. When he made that, not Ragnarok, Love and Thunder. You've now gone all this way. So I looked at this and I said, no, what this is another chance. You see what they did with Johnny Storm? Where they put Chris Evans as Johnny Storm in the movie? When I saw that, I said, no, this is testing the waters for appetite from the fans. Would you accept this? Subconsciously, would you accept if, when we do Fantastic Four, in this, because remember, it's a new timeline. In this other timeline, Chris Evans is Johnny Storm. Would you accept that? I'm not saying that they're going to do that. I'm not saying that. But it's like looking at things and saying that, and the fans have basically told you, yes, we would. In a way, listen, let me be real. When I saw that, he is more Johnny Storm than he is Captain America. He's played Johnny Storm before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he's played, and when he played Johnny Storm in Silver Surfer, I thought, this is very good casting. This is exactly who he is from his smaller movie.
Yeah. No. Like, he was a good Captain America.
Yeah, but I think what I'm saying is that between those two characters, he's more suited to.
Oh, yeah.
For example, let me put it: Homo sapiens is more Captain America in my view than Chris Evans.
But again, and that's the point. It's almost wait, what is it?
I don't think do they know who Homo sapiens?
No,
they don't.
But that's a deep dive.
Aaron Eckhart, everybody, Homo sapiens.
But my thing is again, Christopher Reeve is not the Superman from the comics.
No, he isn't. No.
So it's like,
but he's
the Superman from the comics is Robert Redford or Clark Gable.
Robert Redford?
No, it's okay. No, Clark Gable.
Yes, okay.
Clark Gable.
Robert Redford.
Yeah, Clark Gable is the Superman from the comics. It's not Christopher Reeve. So my thing is that yes, if they because he
properly, oh no, it's Captain America. Homo sapiens.
Yeah,
that's
and then that film is trash. with all due respect.
No.
With Homo sapiens,
sapiens. No. Think about it.
I've thought about it, and it will be crap.
Homo sapiens. The whole point of Captain America, he's boring. Like it's just a
no.
Check.
Oh, sorry. I'm speaking for myself personally.
Okay, for
it'll be garbage. But what made that film so good was so this isn't really the Captain America that's supposed to be. So it actually created something different and had a different energy towards him. Similar to if you put Clark Gable or Superman, the film is garbage. For me. Christopher Reeve actually brought something more that wasn't in the...
I wouldn't say that. Anyway, who cares? Look, the thing is though, at the end of the day, that is what the problem is. Because now that you have this get out of jail and you can reset and you can do anything you want, and you've tested the waters and the fans have said to $1 billion plus, we will accept this. It's free. It's a free-for-all now. What's going to happen is that every mistake you've ever made, you'll just correct it. You'll just redo it. And that's where I go from this. If you're willing to do that for everybody, why can't Snipes be Blade? If a man can play, you know that Hugh Jackman started playing Wolverine when I was a teenager. In my early, I was like 20 years old, 19.
Yeah,
I was a little kid. This man has been playing Wolverine longer than a lot of the people watching X-Men and Avengers have been alive. Think about that.
Yeah.
If you're 15, 16 years old, there is only one person you've ever seen be Wolverine. Think about that. That's wild. There are 20-year-olds, 20-year-old people. There are 25, 24, 25-year-olds who have not seen another actor play that character in their entire lives. And they've been watching these movies since they were like 7 years old. Can you imagine that? From 7 to your 20s, there's only one man who's played this role.
No, but my thing for Hugh Jackman is that...
So it's like it's like you're holding it hostage.
Like aren't you too old? Like, okay, so my thing, okay, so what's the next step now? Is this Deadpool and Wolverine? So, or is he not going to have his own?
He's going to have his own thing. Yeah, because now what they've done is that you remember that Fox used to do X-Men.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is now. Whether they've got a deal.
No. So they have
Sony or whatever.
No, they
Marvel now have it.
They've got X-Men. So basically, the next thing is X-Men.
X-Men. Yeah, they're going to redo everything. So they're now going to do the.
They're going to put Hugh Jackman as the next Wolverine. I dare them. No, that's not. I dare.
Wait a minute. Did you watch this film or not?
I watched it and I dare them.
Okay, you dare them, and then what are you going to do when they do it?
I'll riot.
Okay, good. Riot for yourself.
Okay.
They ended the movie to tell you that is what they were going to do. That's why they brought him into this timeline with a yellow suit and a mask. Do you know what? When I watched this film and I said this, I said, do you know how weird it is that it has taken 25 years for them to allow this guy to wear the suit that he wore in the comics for 30, 40 years? Like, do you know how crazy that is? This is literally what Wolverine looks like in the comics that everybody read.
And
it takes 25.
It doesn't work on film. It looks stupid. For me, personally, stupid.
To you.
Yeah.
To you. The fact of the matter that it has taken this long is crazy to me. The fact of the matter that it's taken this long to give him the white eyes and to give him the headpiece is crazy to me. I'm like, this is literally what this guy looks like. So why do you do that? Second of all, and as you said already, look, the problem that I've had with him playing it, is not performance-wise. Because I said he's a good actor. He's a good performer.
Very good.
He's always been good.
Prestige?
No, he's always been good.
Prisoners?
He's always been good. He's a good actor. So I've never criticized Hugh Jackman's acting ability.
Very good actor.
You can't. And in fact, I would say this. Because he's so good an actor is why he's actually been able to pull this off in spite of the fact that he's not suited to this character. It's because he's so good an actor that as a fan of Wolverine, I've been able to stomach it because he's a good actor. A lesser actor, I would not have been able to tolerate it. I wouldn't have been able to tolerate it because it is the antithesis of. Do you know what's so funny? When he went into those, you know, those time warps, and Deadpool was going around and he saw that short guy. They made him so short to make it funny. That concept is closer to what Wolverine.
Yeah.
He's a midget.
No. He's not a midget. He's short.
No, he's. Go on.
No.
I wish I bring comic image.
No.
Look at him next to Cyclops.
A midget.
Look at him next to Cyclops.
I want to be, because I don't want to be rude here. So Peter Dinklage.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what he's short. Yes, he's short.
That's it. Because see, when you say midget, that's like
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito is not short. He is close to dwarfism. That's not a short. Danny DeVito is not a short.
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito is not. That is dwarfism.
Okay, look.
Like short is Dustin Hoffman is a short man.
This is the point. Hold on.
Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman, when he's in a film, doesn't look unusually short.
Based on how they film it, similar to Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is just short.
Tom Cruise, even in real life, when you see Tom Cruise on the red carpet, that's real life.
He's short.
He doesn't look unusually short.
There's only
the only point I'm trying to make about this is that in order for you to cast Wolverine accurately, he needs to be unusually short. Where he's so short that you visually, if you see him next to somebody, you're like, that guy.
Yeah.
That is the reason why in the comics, right? When I read Wolverine comics and you see him standing with other things, the artists make him look unusually short.
I mean, basically, and everyone knows it. If you know comics, there's an iconic image of Wolverine next to Sabretooth, and Wolverine is looking up at Sabretooth. And that's
incredibly short.
And also, as well, there is a line in the cartoon TV show where Wolverine briefly says that references. There's a line in the TV show where Wolverine literally references how short he is. That's, you pick on me because you're small, blah blah blah. Look at what I can do as a small. So everything, whether it's in the comics or in the cartoon show, makes references to how small he is. And why is he called a Wolverine? Have you seen what a Wolverine looks like? When an artist draws something, there's a reason why they draw it like that, because for comics, it's not only what the character's about, literally, it's what the character's about visually. The visual representation of the character is as important as what they're about. So,
yeah, but the thing is, as well as just narratively, which is what I missed with him, is that the shortness of Wolverine played into his own insecurities and a lot of his own story behavior, his behavior and attitude. Like, he had a Napoleon complex. And that entire thing is missing from this Wolverine for the last 20-something years that he's been playing it. And that, for me, was such a fundamental aspect of the character reading the comics, was the fact that when you stand him next, he was the opposite of Cyclops. That is the reason why he was jealous of Cyclops, because Cyclops is this pretty boy, tall, 6 foot something, all of these things. And Wolverine, next to any of these iconic, heroic male characters in X-Men, was the opposite of them. Yet he was the most ferocious, and he was the most a lot of those things played into it, and it was very, very interesting. You've lost that, and that's a big loss, because Hugh Jackman is a classic tall.
That's the key thing. Hugh Jackman is tall. If you see Hugh Jackman on the street, he's tall. He's not average height.
Yeah.
He's tall.
But he's tall, but he also looks like, if you put him next to Reynolds or Cyclops or anybody, you don't look at it and say he's out of place.
No.
You know? And that to me is a big miss, because then all you're playing on now is his ferocity and his anger.
And he has claws.
I'm just like, so for me,
there's nothing
I was
character.
I was looking forward to the opportunity, and not anymore, because like I said, I've retired, but back when maybe 7, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I was like, maybe they're going to cast a new Wolverine. When they were doing Future Past and all that, and they never did. They just kept using him. And I just said that there's an opportunity to cast someone else. Do you know who? No, he couldn't play the role, but his stature is appropriate. Is Scott Caan.
Oh, yeah.
His body, like the way he looks.
That's the thing. Do you watch The Bear?
What's that?
TV show.
Is he in it?
No. But the main character in it, that's a Wolverine.
Okay, anyway.
But basically, if you see the main character in it, I think it's Jeffrey. I've forgotten Jeffrey Dean White or something. I've forgotten his name. The main character in The Bear, that's Wolverine. And anybody who's watched the TV show,
I haven't seen it. But I'm just saying that is the sort of thing I would...
Yeah, Scott Caan, yeah.
But Scott Caan is his shape.
And also, we know this. It's just that...
Jack Nicholson. Yeah, obviously. It's all... But that is
like
Wolverine.
Jack Nicholson, that's Wolverine.
That is literally...
And Hugh Jackman, as good as an actor you are, you can't evoke that emotion that Jack Nicholson evoked in Wolf.
In Wolf, yeah.
It's impossible.
That was when... You see, that's why I said that Hollywood is weird. Because like, when I watched Wolf, right, I was like, my God, they should make a Wolverine movie. Yeah. Like when I watched that movie, they've got to make a Wolverine, because I'm like, that is literally, but that's an elite actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's elite, because he's not short. Like Nicholson ain't short. No, he's not the right height. He's not the right height. He's a complete case of a guy who is so good, and he has such a unique look and ability that you'll accept it.
But
he's not short.
The difference though is that the issue is that he's not short, he's not tall.
No, he's not tall.
The issue is that Hugh Jackman is tall. So you're it's an extreme departure of Wolverine's about, because not only is he not short, Hugh Jackman is tall. The thing for Jack Nicholson, okay, he's not really the ideal height of short, but he's not tall. So you can get away with it because of just like, okay, it's not so much of a departure of him being short, and also it's Jack Nicholson and what he looks like, especially when you watch Wolf. But look, it's made $1 billion, and these clowns are going to... So if Hugh Jackman is Wolverine again, I'm like, you know what?
But then it's the right... Look, the point is, if it makes that much, then it was the right thing to do for them. Like, if your goal is to make money and to be successful, and it does that, what we're really looking at is what it means, like what this actually represents for society and the movie business. And I actually think more for society. Forget the movie business. For society, because what it's saying, listen, I just watched something that isn't, it's saying something, you know, oh, everybody has a meaning. Yeah, but you're just saying that. Like the movie as in and of itself, it was very difficult to follow. Like I couldn't really follow the thread of the story. At a point you give up, which is what all of the films are like. There's a point about 2/3 of the way where your brain says, okay, I give up now. I'm just going to go for the ride to the end. There's always an emitter at the end. This one had an emitter. I'm like, why do we have an emitter? It's an emitter. Every one of these movies has some device machine that needs to be blown up, and the bad guy is going to use that machine to do something. And I'm just like, they just figured out a way to put that in the movie. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't know this woman. I'm like, okay, she's bad. Fair enough. You're trying to fight her. Fair enough. You're trying to go here. You're trying to get there. When you have a scenario like that, and the general public have been, and which is what I mean. You see, there's a deeper point to what I said about, there's a lot of people who've only seen him as Wolverine. The deeper point is that there is a generation of movie fan and superhero fan that don't know any better.
Yeah.
They don't know great films. They don't know any better. This is their classics are Avengers and Dark Knight. That's that is the bar that they are trying, that they measure everything by. So when you look at that generation of people, for them, this is a masterpiece. No, for a lot of these guys, for them, Romulus is a masterpiece. They don't know any better. They've grown up for the last 24 years with this sort of stuff. So for them,
yeah, they have nothing to really compare.
They have nothing to compare, and also they don't come from a society that forces them to go backwards. To look, see, when we grew up, we had to look at the 60s, 50s, 40s. I've watched all these films from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. All the films from decades before I even existed, I've watched. So that gives you a big, because the films that were coming out in the 80s, they were classics. And they were from filmmakers who were drawing on inspiration from older filmmakers. So you were compelled to watch those guys' stuff because those guys were still making movies. So you start looking at, the problem is that the guys that are coming out now are picked people. Back then, guys made themselves. These guys are like selected. It's like, okay, you know, we're going to get you. Yeah, we're going to match you with this, match you this, match you with this.
Like, where did Doug Liman come from? Because I think he did
some good things, man.
Real Steel.
Well, didn't Doug Liman, who did repeats the
Edge of Tomorrow?
Yeah, who did that? Wasn't that him?
I'm not sure whether that was him. I'm not sure.
Okay, like whoever. If it's him,
Because he did.
who did Ghana Darkly?
No, it's not him. Because
Who did that?
I have no idea. He did free the NPC thing with Ryan Reynolds as a NPC.
Oh,
Free Guy.
yeah, that.
He did Free Guy. He did The Real Steal.
Yes. You know, actually, you know what? I actually want to know who did that.
What's Edge of Tomorrow?
It was Doug Liman.
It was?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Do not insult that man. Do not insult that guy, because that movie, like I told guys, I said, listen, man.
No.
That movie is one of the most underrated films of the last 20 years.
It's a great film.
Listen, one of the most underrated films of the last 20 years. I watched that film in the cinema and I came back and I said, why is nobody talking about this?
No,
I couldn't even understand it. Great film. Great. So please don't insult him. Everybody has things good and bad, okay? If a guy makes that film, all right. So for me, I feel like, look, at the end of the day, that is what it says about where we're at. And that's the reason why you have, you know, with the election, Donny T, Kamala Harris, the news, the wars in Middle East and everything, the riots in London, cost of living crisis, situation in Africa and everything, all of this stuff. And the reason why we as people accept it is because of this sort of thing. People can't seem to connect the dots. We are so mindless now. Like we are just completely apathetic to everything, that it is easy for people to just say, okay, here, take this. That's what Romulus taught me. Like when I watched Romulus, now it didn't teach me that. Sorry. That's what Romulus is an example of. You put that out there and you say, here, take this.
And the people accept it.
People just accept it. There is no black, like we said about Romulus, there is no black human being who has any self-respect that should watch that film and accept that. You shouldn't. Because of Andy the android. There is no way that you watch that and be like, yeah, man, you know, thumbs up, thanks for representation. No way in hell. You're watching this movie, and as I said, thumbs up to Ryan Reynolds, respect. Because of all the films I've seen recently, the guy did Blade. Blade came and did something. For goodness sake.
Like, I didn't like the costume, but, you know.
The representation, like, I did not feel it was not insulting.
Yeah, no. And I was shocked because I had no idea he was going to turn up.
I knew before I watched it.
Oh, no, I had no idea. So
there was, and like I said, so I've got to respect. And listen, congratulations to Ryan Reynolds for the success, you know. That's what I've got to say, because what a comeback. You know, to have those many things that do not go well and to come back like this and to have the success, congratulations to him on that. And I
mean, boss, if they give you $3 billion,
no, I know they keep giving chances.
So I don't know whether I could be saying congrats. So
I'm just saying congrats because I'm trying to be nice. Okay. Mm-hmm. And listen, I brought up that point. Has Snipes got a chance?
No.
Where's Snipes' chance?
So again, I can't say congrats to a guy where even if you feel they'll keep giving you chances because when you're loved, so they'll keep giving you chances. Bro, I think they're still trying to make Taylor Kitsch.
No, they're not.
I've seen him in it. I've seen him in the stuff.
They tried very hard.
I've seen him in stuff.
They tried very hard, but no. I would say this. The irony is that he gives Wesley Snipes a shot because Wesley Snipes wasn't given what he should have been. He does one movie that saves the entire company with Blade 1, which to me is one of the best superhero films in the history of superhero movies.
Easily.
Then for part 2, we'll talk about Blade another time, but you then try and dilute the man.
You give him an
army of people to support him. For what reason doesn't even make sense?
Second film.
In the second movie. Then in the third movie, you start the movie with somebody else. Okay, like
so basically at the point you're like, wait, I haven't this.
Was a Blade? What was a Blade? Who am I listening to here? Who is this? You start a movie with somebody else. So then that's what they did to Blade. And then you want to blame him for the failure of the franchise. That's the difference, which is why I say it's ironic that him and Ryan Reynolds were in that same movie. Because you try to blame him for that, and then we don't hear from Wesley Snipes again in a major thing, and you do not give him any more Blade movies. In the meantime, you've got a guy, Hugh Jsckman, who has played Wolverine about 5,000 times.
5,000.
And is about to play it 5,000 times more.
Yeah.
Why can't Wesley Snipes be playing Blade then? Is he that much older than... Maybe he is, but I'm just...
Because I'm saying not every film Hugh Jackman was in was successful.
No, none of them were as bad as Blade Trinity.
No. I'm talking about, okay, let's talk money. X-Men Origins was a bomb.
Yes. But
The
because
film was a bomb. So why my issue though is that why couldn't Snipes, because it's all established that no, Snipes is Blade. He's Blade. So why can't it be like, okay, this was a bad film, but we're gonna give you this. We're gonna give you this. Okay, why is that after Blade Trinity, we never heard of Snipes
we know
ever
because
again?
we've already answered the question. They were trying to diminish him from Blade 2 anyway.
Snipes. Yeah. Sorry.
Wow. They were trying to diminish him from Blade 2 anyway.
Why?
Because he's black.
Mm-hmm.
And it was too strong.
Yeah.
So you try and diminish him. Then he finally goes down. Because you were trying to use Blade 3 to launch somebody else's career. Which is insane.
It's crazy.
Whose career has now been fully launched into the atmosphere. Ironic.
Okay, which is like, I don't even know how to feel about it, because yes, Ryan Reynolds is great with it, but do you know how odd that is? Blade Trinity, and that was where my hatred of Ryan Reynolds began. Because I said, okay, what's my issue? No, my issue with Ryan Reynolds, because I remember him from Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
Yeah.
But my issue with him was, they were trying to launch your career, to pretty much mess up another guy's career. So him not being brought back, I'm like, okay, thank you, Ryan Reynolds, but you do realize that you were somehow indirectly involved
not his fault though.
That's what I said, indirectly, not your fault.
Yeah, I know,
indirectly.
And that is why the line when he said nobody else could be Blade in the film, which they let him put in the film, which is whatever. And they like doing that sort of thing. We can laugh at ourselves while you still cannot figure out how to get a script done. But the reality is that, listen, do you really think Ryan Reynolds doesn't know that? He knows. Why do you think he made that phone call? He knows. There is no way. Listen, Ryan Reynolds, there is no way that man that I'm looking at doesn't know that Snipes got screwed over. There is no way. You think that he never saw Blade 1? He saw that movie. He knows what Wesley Snipes can do. He knows how good he is. So for him to look at his career and the way things have gone for him in the Marvel universe, and to look at Snipes and they can't even figure out how to get a script, and they don't even want to use him as Blade anymore, and they figured out a way to malign and disrespect Snipes in the whole Marvel universe. Snipes is the reason why Marvel even have a universe, because Blade relaunched the entire thing.
And on that's the
point.
And on that point, you know that again, something I just found that, Kevin Feige had no plans of doing Blade. Mahershala Ali came with Blade, so the guy that saved Marvel single-handedly, you didn't even want to reboot him. It was an outside guy that says, "Hey, I'm a two-time Oscar winner. I like to do Blade." Oh, really? Oh, okay,
that's
sure.
the reason. That's the reason why they can't figure it out.
Yeah,
because they never really wanted to do it.
They never wanted to do it.
So now that this guy has brought it to the table, and this guy's a two-time Oscar winner who's ready to be the star of this thing, it's a no-brainer. So you can't tell him no. So then you greenlight it, but then you have to figure out how to create a Blade movie that doesn't do the things a Blade movie is supposed to do.
Because we want to make Blade, but not Blade 1.
You don't want it to do the thing it's supposed to do. No. Because the thing is this: the reality is, a Blade movie that, when I watched this Deadpool and Wolverine, I saw glimpses of what Snipes brings to the table, and you see them like, do you know what?
And the thing as well is, can that psychology fit into MCU?
No, it can't. That is no. Do you know what? Yes and no. You see, if you allow that into the MCU, what happens is that it becomes the strongest, it becomes the lightning rod for the whole universe. Mm-hmm. It can still work story-wise, but people just keep looking to that thing. This is very, it's obviously the conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy theory. We know it's true. But from what we've said about all the examples, it can't be a mistake if it keeps happening to every black person that is in any universe in the superhero world. Somehow everybody's a lackey. Somehow everybody's a sidekick. Somehow everybody's in a coma. Somehow everybody's running after some white character. Finn is trying to save Rey. Captain Falcon is a custodian of Captain America's shield. Roddy Rhodes is the custodian of a leftover Iron Man suit. Everybody's a lackey.
No, because my thing is,
so it's like it can't be a conspiracy. It can't be a conspiracy theory.
Name me another film similar to Blade that has happened after 1998.
That's why they don't do. Listen, let me put it this way, right? And I say this to everybody, and they cannot respond. You say that the industry is based on making money and success. And whenever something is successful and makes money, what does Hollywood do? They repeat it 5 million times so they can't repeat it anymore. The only things that are successful that they do not repeat are Black successes. When it's a hero thing and it's positive. Black Panther, the only response to Black Panther is Wakanda Forever years later. In the same, you didn't make other things. Oh, wow. You mean that if we make a Black superhero with African elements, people are going to want to watch that? Oh my goodness, let's just make a lot of that. They didn't do that. This thing made $1 billion. Do you know what's crazy? Both films hit a bit like up, one $1 billion, the other one almost $1 billion. When you're making that kind of money with a concept of Africa, superhero, and being, wouldn't that mean that you'll just make like 10 of these things? No. Why is not every single studio in that town making a replica of this? Because that is not the rhetoric you want to put out there. You don't put out that.
And also, you have to remember, when you look into Black Panther, look, there's a reason why the CGI looked like that. They didn't think it was going to succeed. They didn't really care about Black Panther. But so when it's also that, oh, well, okay, let's just do a sequel. They have no plans of like, oh, let's not do more of this stuff. No. Like, guys, it's not a conspiracy. Again, I asked the question yet again. Because Black Panther cool, made money, it was a gimmick. Name me another film as strong and with the same kind of intensity and impact as Blade 1, starring a Black main lead. You can't name it.
It doesn't exist.
You can't.
And it's never, they will not make anything like that.
And here's the thing. The scripts have been submitted. Stories have been submitted. People have gone into pitch meetings. Nothing has materialized.
Yeah, but you see, and I don't even like, listen, you know how I feel about that whole concept of getting people to make things for you. What is happening is what should happen. What is happening is what should happen. Do you know what is weird? Should I tell you what's weird? Black people making hero stories, exalting white characters in the context of the world we live in. I believe that humans we're just one species, like we know that. But in the context of the white supremacy and the world that we live in and all the racism and bigotry and hatred and everything that we live in, the weird thing is that Black people are doing that and other minorities default to that. How is it weird for a white writer or director to want to make himself look good? How's that weird?
No, that's
what I feel is so strange when people criticize guys about making James Bond white.
I don't want any diversity. No.
This is what they are doing, what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to make themselves feel good. They want their sons, their daughters to be able to look at something and be like, look, this is an ideal. This is what you should be striving for. Why are they going to now start? Do you know how twisted it is that you're telling a white guy to make a film where he's going to put himself in the film, but make you the top dog in his own in the movie?
It doesn't make sense.
And make him the sidekick to your...
It makes no logical sense. Because my thing, I say, Miles Morales does not exist to me. Miles Morales was, man, Spider-Man is so popular. Let's give something to the Latinos and to the Blacks. So let's make a half Black, half Latino Spider-Man, which is trash. Spider-Man is white. He's called Caucasian.
He is white.
Okay, well, so...
Look, at the end of the day, with this film, I think looking at it, like I said, you can't really critique it as a film because I don't think it's really worth that.
A film, no.
But it was very successful for what it was trying to do. It did fan service to all the people they wanted to do fan service for. It is resetting the entire Marvel universe because they realize that they have nowhere to go. So now what is going to happen is that there is now an essential reboot of everything. Because, you know, when they put that little hint of Thor crying, they've already now planned out like the trajectory of the next 10, 15 years. The next 10, 15 years. So what this has done, this movie and these things they've done, because they flirted with it with that TV show, what's that woman? Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, Wonder Vision.
Yeah, because they've been thinking, we need to reset everything. So we can just go back and essentially recast things we need to recast. Redo things we need to redo.
They're on their third iteration of Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Really?
And really, they are not, but this is the first now that they're doing Fantastic Four. And now they're going to get, and listen, this is the beauty of it. They want to be able to use actors who are proven and have fan bases already. Now, the only way you can get away with that is by doing something like this. So now they can go and pilfer particular people. The next thing you know, Thor, Chris Hemsworth is going to play somebody else.
Yeah.
They're going to just bring him and he'll be somebody else in another thing. I don't know what he'll be, but they'll just pick another character who's popular and just make him that.
It's a mess.
I'll tell you one thing about this movie that really bothered me, and this is something that maybe you don't give a damn about, but it really bothered me, is that the violence. I'm looking at this and I said, this is what the Western society has come to. That you've glorified violence to such a degree that the violence in this movie is so extreme, but made in such a cartoonish, pleasant, with music and pop music. And do you know what that does to the subconscious of a child? Because this is supposed to be an R-rated movie. Do you know this is how it's messed up? You build a fan base on kids, right? And these kids want to see...
Well, this is 15 though, so kids shouldn't be watching this film.
No, this is what my point is. The fan base of Marvel is 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
You build your fan base on young children, right? Then you make movies like this, where you bring somebody that's from the 12 and below group, Wolverine, and you pair him with Deadpool, who's from a teen, kids are watching that too anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you pair him with that, and then you create this situation where every single kid who is worth a damn is going to want to watch that movie and is going to figure out a way to see that film. That $1 billion that is made, a big percentage of that is some people's parents taking them to go and watch that movie, or them sneaking in to watch that movie. They are watching that film. And the point is that, you see, when we were growing up, right, violence movies, you knew what you were watching.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to watch Predator, T2, T1, all of this sort of stuff, Commando. It is what it is. You're not supposed to be watching that, but you are. There's a difference between that and what we're getting now, where you've made violence such an intrinsic part of childhood. It's now part of childhood. Officially part of childhood. Where video games back then were not violent. When I was a kid, they weren't. Now,
GTA was pretty violent.
GTA is, I'm talking about when I was really young.
Okay.
GTA is like I was already 18s, 20s. I'm saying that GTA introduced a lot of the violence to video games. What I'm saying is that you've now got a situation that if you're a young person and you're 15, 16 years old now, violence, extreme violence, is part of your life now. Like, it's part of your subconscious. You can control the violence with your control pad. They're pumping it to you. When I was watching the beginning of Deadpool and Wolverine, I was like, do you know how violent this is? And the music, look at this. This is the intro. Now, listen, I don't want to be a dead weight here. I like violence. Everybody who knows what I watch. The films I list, these are classics. But those are what they are. You know what I'm saying? And they're made with a certain level of realism that when you watch it, you appreciate the kills that are happening. It's not just for the sake of it.
No, but I think that people just say, look, it's cartoony, it's comedy, so...
That is why people are shooting up schools. The guy who went in Buffalo or whatever it was in New York, and he was going after the black people and filming it on Twitch, he filmed it to look like a first-person shooter. Like this is what we're talking about. So people who try and disassociate these things, you're having a laugh. And this is coming from a gamer, a lifelong gamer. I'm a gamer. I'm a full-on gamer. It's coming from a guy who plays these games, coming from a guy who watches these movies, and whose top 10 list include Predator is in my top 5 of all time. One of the most violent things you've ever seen in your life, that movie. So I'm not a guy who shies away from violent films. The problem I have is that it's now become so desensitized to the general public and so tied to youth and childhood that it worries me when I look at something like this, that there is no context to that violence that we're seeing. None. What's happening?
Look, like, as I said again, like, for me,
Sabretooth, by the way they did Sabretooth was ridiculous.
Who cares?
Was that the guy who played him in the film? It was.
Yeah. For me, the violence for me was, I was like, really, it was like, whatever. That, for me, that was not one of the biggest issues as I had with the film. So
no, I know, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because I think that is a big overarching issue with these sorts of things, which ties into, like I said, the dumbing down of the audience, the apathy that the audience have. And the fact that something like this can come out. Look, Dr. Doom, in closing, Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom is, I don't think I think it's just a sad situation that
it's desperation.
Yeah, exactly. That you couldn't figure anything out. That you had to go to the most successful guy in your entire franchise who has been essentially killed off years ago. And he's not, you know what the funny thing is? He hasn't even been killed off that long ago. And only like 3 years ago, and you're already 4 years ago. And you're already bringing him back.
And this is on the heels because you sacked a guy for running away from his crazy white girlfriend who chased him around New York. But that's a separate discussion. Well, Junior, the level of stupidity and ridiculousness to that it's shocking. Because my thing is that if he's now going to be the Doctor Doom, what's the point in casting Downey Jr.? If it's going to be a variant, you've pretty much ruined what the character is as about.
What do you mean a variant?
So it's Tony Stark, but in a separate universe.
Yes. That's exactly what it is. What they're basically going to do is that something in Tony Stark's life went a different way in that timeline, which made him Doctor Doom. That's what they're going to do.
And that
something happened
incredibly dumb
that made him go in that direction instead of the direction he ended up going in. Now, this is the thing. If this is all they ever did, I wouldn't have an issue with it. If this was all they ever, there was no Way Home, there was no, all of the things that they've done with multiverse, and this was the only thing they did, I would actually be like, wow, that's pretty cool, you know? The problem is, this is one of a dozen times you've done this now, where you now look at it and you're like, this has nothing to do with being inspired. This has everything to do with desperation. You really do not know how to kick off this new universe. Because you see, what he's going to do is that you now anchor the next 10 years off him. He now becomes the main villain for this phase of the MCU, and is a villain that is a guy that is so beloved by the Marvel fans that you are guaranteeing you have an anchor for your next single movie. So that is, they say they're going to make $100 million. That's worth $200 million to pay Downey Jr. for that. That is, he's literally giving you the opportunity to make billions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's worth $200 million. If I was them, I'd pay him $200 million for that.
I don't hope it pays off. I hope it pays off.
Let me put it this way. On his end, you see, Robert Downey, first of all, he was always a good actor. Always has been. The issue with him, which I said, even when I was young, when I used to see him and he was doing the drugs and the crime thing, I actually felt bad I have to be honest, I felt bad for him because I felt like when I was a kid and I saw him doing that, I said, what is wrong? You know what I mean? I was like, what's going on, man? Because it felt like you have so much going for you. You have so many opportunities. What is wrong? I didn't understand, but I was young. So I didn't. You know where you just see those guys on like Corey Haim and all the guys, you see them. When you're younger, you're seeing that. You're just like, what is wrong with these guys? Because they have everything. That was how I saw it. So it's not like Robert Downey Jr. suddenly pops out of nowhere with talent and ability. Everybody knew he had ability. Everybody. He's fulfilling his potential, again, because he's white and they give you a second chance. You know? Simple as that. Now, the thing about it, though, is that when Robert Downey, like the Tropic Thunder thing we've talked about as well and everything, for a lot of white fans out there, he really means a lot because he represents them and he represents their second chances. And he represents a lot about things that they would want. So when they saw him be a black man and people laugh at that, it was very empowering because a lot of white guys want to be able to do that. They want to be able to crack those sort of jokes and be able to, I say, you see, it's all love anyway, you know, it's hard. They want that. Because as I said at the time, Ben Stiller, why? I mean, I know why, because you want to be able to do it and get away with it. It's very empowering to be able to do that and get away with it. White chicks that people keep bringing up, I thought that was dumb.
It's stupid.
I thought that was dumb. I thought that was stupid to do that. So for me, it's like, okay. But him going in, I think it's the case now that he represents that demographic so strongly, like just the regular white dude fan, that for him to be Dr. Doom is a master stroke for these guys, because what it means is that you know he's going to perform well. You know that already. So you don't even have to worry about the performance.
And also you're using the relationship of him as, and basically, here's what I said. Two schools of thoughts. As a marketing business thing, it's brilliant. From a business marketing point of view, it's absolutely brilliant. From a artistic
They don't care. Who cares
storytelling point of view,
who cares about?
it's trash. No,
They don't care about.
no. But let's talk about those schools of thoughts. From storytelling artistic, it's done. It's because what you do, Endgame is now trash. You've now completely undercut
Because they've made their money.
of Endgame.
They've made their money. That's the thing. So what I'm trying to say, yeah, exactly.
So basically, it's purely business.
It's business.
So basically, like this was never about art, storytelling, integrity of a story, and story to last for years and years and years. So basically, when you look back now, 4 years now, Endgame is like, no, well, what does it mean? Oh yeah, that guy. Oh yeah, he's still alive as a different variant in another universe.
It doesn't matter. Well, you see, but that's what I mean about the degradation of society and as a whole. You see, we still hold dear Superman and the events in Superman the movie, the events in Batman 89, the events in Batman Returns, the events in Blade 1, which they've tried to mess with, but still, the events in Unbreakable, the events in a lot of these superhero movies that are classics. We hold those things, and let's not even talk about the classic movies, because they meant something, but superhero movies specifically because they have sequels. Back to the Future as well, fantasy movies, Lord of the Rings, everything, which has now they're trying to degrade that with all these shows that they're doing. Star Wars, they're trying to degrade that. But we still go back to those old classics. And that is why, because they meant something. Same with Alien, we talked about that. These things meant something. When you're now in an era when nothing is sacred, nothing means anything, that translates into society. It translates into who you vote for. What kind of crap you will take from your politicians, because nothing matters anymore. All of this to me is like a massive social engineering experiment.
The fact that people have accepted Deadpool and Wolverine, they were going to accept Danny Jr. as Dr. Doom. You're breeding, and look at social media. It's basically the Deadpool and Wolverine. It's a seminal moment in films. It's a seminal moment because based on all the trash, I just think this is because this and the success of this and what's going to now follow, this is a seminal moment within the film industry.
Well,
because after that, I'm like, okay. So, because after I watched the film, I'm like, that film was garbage. And then to now see
because you're saying it like it's no.
Okay. It's what I saw was like, okay, I didn't watch a film. I just watched a thing.
And it was a great, what it was really good for that. That's the point. So the real issue is...
But I tuned in to watch a film though. That's the thing.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't.
If you're listening to a film, I'm there to watch a film.
Okay, well, I didn't. And I looked at it and I said, listen, I know what this is. And it was, when I watched that,
So you liked it then?
What? Who's talking about like? I said that what it is, it's good for what it's trying to achieve. It's not it's a marketing thing. It's something that, listen, we go in there, we analyze what our situation is, and we need to create something that is going to make a lot of money, be successful, but also open and unlock the doors for billions of dollars in the future, which is what it has effectively done. So it is incredibly successful, and it was very good for that purpose. Because what you have now is that also what it did is that it validated your audience. It asked the audience through the screen, will you be cool with this? Are you going to buy? Are you going to come? And the audience has resoundingly said, we are with you. We are coming there. And it is because there's nothing else. Nobody else. DC should be looking at this and crying. Because this is like, you had a chance. For between Endgame and this, you had an opportunity. These people now are going to now take the baton for another 10 years. Because you have to look at it that way and say that it is successful for those reasons. The Dr. Doom thing, like I said, it is sad because, this is the reason why you're doing it. And it is effectively shutting the door on the possibility of, because for me, it's like, if you're going to reboot, then just reboot it. Just get another Iron Man and just reboot it. That's, for me, I'm like, okay, And that, do you know what's so funny? That's fine. If you're like, that is finished, new Iron Man, I would say give it 5-6 years, start again. We shouldn't have had any Iron Man between 2020, 2027, new Iron Man, like they do with James Bond, the Batman. Batman has been rebooted how many times?
No. You're dealing with people where it's about money and business. It's not about story. Art is the last thing on the list with these guys.
The fans,
So,
the fact that the people have gone to buy this stuff and everything and they're paying for it, they're getting what they. This is how I view it. The fact fans are going out and buying tickets to this stuff, they're getting what they deserve. This is what you deserve. You do not deserve any better than this. So there's no room for complaining or whining. I'm not even, my energy on Talkback now is different. I'm not even complaining anymore because I don't expect anything to be different. It's not going to change.
Yeah, like
this is the commentary.
It's like payout spill baking doesn't mean anything anymore.
It's
because it's funny, we've reached the end game.
This is beyond the end game.
Yeah, because see, back then I was like let's push the agenda, let's hope for. Now it's like this is like the wasteland.
This is a commentary.
This is Mad Max. This is Thunderdome.
This is beyond Thunderdome.
Oh, is that the name of the
That's the name of the film. This is beyond Thunderdome. Listen, at the end of the day, why did Mad Max Furiosa fail? It failed because this is a Mad Max franchise,
and you put a twig as the
and at the end of the day,
character.
We were tricked to go and watch Fury Road, which was a great film. But you tricked us to go and watch that. We went and watched this, but really everybody went there because it was Mad Max.
Yeah.
So now that we know that it is not Mad Max, at the end of the day, I didn't even go, and I wanted to go, but I wasn't compelled because I just felt Mad Max isn't even in it. So I'm like, you know what? I'll see it sometime. People don't understand. It's like, look, that's a whole separate conversation. So let me not mess up this conversation with that. But look, the point is, this thing is what it is. I wasn't, we had to do it because obviously for the sake of the platform, we're doing this because everybody's talking about it. It's made all this money. I think, of course, like it's an indictment on society, on the industry, that this is where we're at, that this is what is at the top of the totem pole. And this is going to obviously suffocate the opportunity for more original material to come out, to be made, to be produced, to be put out there. That is what it's going to do. You cannot now then complain about the kind of superhero movies you get when this is what you're talking about. And when you're making movies whereby it is designed to lead on to other things, then those things aren't even films anymore. They're just commercials. These are just episodic. These are episodic.
It's not
multi-million-dollar projects.
Episodes are leading to episodes. Again, it's the art isn't there.
I want to ask people this: how many people watching this revisit Endgame or Infinity War? Part 1 and 2. It's part 1 and 2, Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
And then Endgame.
Yeah. Infinity War is terrible.
How many people? No, this is the real question. How many of you guys watching this go back and rewatch that? More importantly, in the fandom, how many people even talk about any of those scenes? Very few of those scenes.
There's not
a lot to. You talk about the snap, yes, but that's because of how cataclysmic that was.
Those things. I mean,
the thing.
All I'll say with Endgame though is, and this is really Alan Silvestri, best end credit scene to any film.
Regardless, you look at something like that and you say that this is what we've come to. That if you go to most proper fans, not the youngsters, because if you're under 35, I don't even count you, because unfortunately you've grown up with what it is. If you're under 35 years or you're 30 and below, a lot of you guys won't even know anything because you've not seen a lot of this stuff. But if you're over that age, especially if you're over 40, my goodness, like, you look at the situation now and it's like the only things you really think about are the classic films. The classic, you keep going back to that. There is no way that you're going to be looking at any of this stuff and remembering anything. I don't even remember what happened in the Batman. What even happened in that movie? I don't remember anything from that film.
Penguin chased him in a couch.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like, you have a lot of these sort of things that you're like, this is what it is now. And as I said, I've retired. I'm watching these things primarily.
Look, I'm
watching it for this.
I've got no strength anymore with this stuff. Like, I just don't like it's fit. I mean, after what retired me was Matrix Resurrections. See, it was a combination of Fury Road and Resurrections was like, yeah, I'm done. Oh no. The real final thing on like where I am fit. This is just Afterlife, the finito. Dune 2.
No, mine was
Dune Part 2. I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this stuff.
You know, when I retired, you'll be so shocked.
What?
Because it's a very long time ago.
What?
Avengers 1.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
2012.
Oh, damn. That was it. Because that was so after that, and I remember I said it on a Blog Talk Radio. I said, I'm finished. Because when I saw that, I said, and what annoyed me so much about that movie was Thor only just started. He's only really just got going. A lot of these characters haven't even had a first film. How are you going to have an Avengers when a lot of these characters have only had one movie or not any at all? And you have a team-up thing?
Look,
Like, you said it was good. You said it was...
I still like Avengers.
Oh, you messed up.
I still like Avengers. Oh, no, I still like Avengers.
Yeah, okay, you're messed up, man.
Sorry.
That's how I know you're... Anyway.
It was that I'm fake. That's what you're supposed to say.
I didn't say that.
I sound like Avengers.
I didn't say anything.
Let me not bring up that.
Bring up what?
You know what I want to bring up?
What is?
That's what I want to bring up. That means.
I will cheat, right? No, because it's like you've got nothing else. There's nothing else.
Yes.
Heat.
I'm sure
it's better than Heat, right?
Did I say that?
No, it's so stupid that
Deadpool and Hugh Jackman let go of that role. You are too. I know you're watching this. Hugh Jackman, you're too tall. You're a BFG.
No, nobody's watching this. It doesn't matter. And also,
no, you can watch this. No. Wait, listen, let me say. Hugh Jackman, I know you watch this. See, watch this. Get rid of that damn role. You've played it for too long. You're too old. You're still too tall. You can crack as many jokes as you want about it in the film. Yes, you're still too freaking tall. You're a damn BFG. Get someone else to fill in that role, because you will never ever be Wolverine. Doesn't matter how much money you make, how much people love you. You're never Wolverine because you're too tall.
That means that you haven't changed. You see, that's what I'm saying. That if you've really retired, you see how much I'm talking about here is that when somebody has played something that long, 20-something years, that means people want to keep seeing him playing it.
And the people,
that's what I'm saying. When you're making that much money and you've just made $1 billion, all the stuff you're saying doesn't. My commentary is on what this means about society. Forget about all of that. What you're saying is irrelevant. It means that he's the right guy. That's what it means. When you see this, for the kind of world that we're living in today, this is the right guy. Because for the fact that the guy died in Logan and you brought him back and this is what the result is, what do you got to say?